The sport is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Rough outing for the Aztecs last night, losing by 10 to Grand Canyon at home, 73-63. They'll be taking on Colorado State on Saturday on the road at 3 o'clock. Of course, you hear that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. And the U.S. men's Olympic hockey team advancing to the knockout round. They are taking on Sweden here in about 10 minutes. Canada narrowly escaped the Czech Republic earlier, winning in overtime on a Mitch Marner strike. Choosing the right home service company isn't just about fixing what's broken. It's about trusting who's in your home. That's why homeowners count on Anderson for friendly professional service that keeps everything running right. Visit AndersonPHA.com.
On a Wednesday, what's going on, everybody? Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John Schaefer is going to take over. Then you're going to have to forgive us for some distracted radio on the air today as Team USA Hockey gets going here in about 10 minutes for their game against the Swedes, who are going to be a tough match in the quarterfinal round of the Olympics. If you missed it earlier, Canada got a win over the Czech Republic, like Sammy just told you about. And I was watching that game, man. I thought the Czechs had it. They had it in hand. It was 3-2. Canada lost Crosby to an injury. It looked like this was game over, and Team USA's path to a gold would have been a little bit easier. But alas, it is still a collision course between Team USA and Canada for the gold medal match coming up on Sunday. Hopefully that all plays out. Tough matchup today with the Swedes. We'll see how it goes coming up in about 10 minutes. We got a lot going on today. Your opportunity to qualify to win a pair of tickets to SDFC's home opener coming up on Saturday night against Montreal, plus a game jersey for SDFC. You could win that on San Diego Sports 760 this week, but you got to be listening for a sounder that will play for you. And then you call in and Sammy takes down your information, and then we'll do a grand prize drawing coming up on Friday. We also have Chris McVey joining the show, who's a member of SDFC. He was on the team a year ago, back on the team this year, actually extended through the 2027 with a team option for 2028. Chris McVey, excellent defender for SDFC, is going to be jumping on with us at 1 o'clock today as we get ready for that season. With all that being said, we will cover some Padres today. Of course, we will talk about that Aztecs game from last night, and we will have an eye on Team USA's hockey match with Sweden coming up here in just minutes. But let's start with that Aztecs game for last night, and we're actually going to start with before the game because, Sammy Long, you and I got a little wet pregame. That was crazy.
Let's be careful how we word that.
No, I worded it exactly how I wanted to word it, Sammy. We got a little wet.
We're going to get canceled on the FCC airwaves. Yeah, it started to, I guess, the weather was a little bit of a precursor to how the night was going to go for the Aztecs.
Well, I said make sure it means it's raining threes inside Viejas, and it was, just not for the Aztecs. It was raining threes for Grand Canyon last night during the game. But Sammy and I did get drenched during the pregame show, and then I made my way inside Viejas Arena. And what we watched, I was a little confused with at times, I'll be honest, because what San Diego State had really working for them over the last couple of weeks, they sort of went away from. And what they had working from them was really letting offense come to them and not forcing it through one person or one group, and just making sure that the shots they were getting really came in the flow of the offense. And last night, I felt like Reese Dixon Waters and Magoon Guath were both forcing shots, and it was neither of their nights shooting, which is fine, but then you got to give the rock up. And so if we're going to throw blame on people for that game, I would look at Reese, who's been excellent for the Aztecs all year. I would look at Magoon, who has been really good in his return, the one game that we've seen from him since coming back from injury, and BJ Davis, who all of them felt like they were forcing things at times. And part of that is Grand Canyon's defense, which is excellent. And part of it, I felt like there were better shots to be had, and they just weren't really taken for the Aztecs last night.
Well, in DeMuro, the one big, I think, advantage the Aztecs had going into the game, I talked about on the pregame show, was Grand Canyon only plays like one big, really, the entire game. And I mean, DeMuro, 14 points, 11 boards. You allow him to have a double-double. I didn't see that happening. I mean, I thought last time out, in the first matchup between these two, Miles Heidi had 0 points. Odin had 0. The front court wasn't really working. Farrell Compton and them were decent off the bench. But last night, they really didn't impose their dominance. I mean, I thought with Magoon Guath back and Miles Heidi and Odin, Tay Simmons, I mean, this was going to be a kind of rebounding clinic and allowing not a lot of second chance opportunities. But I mean, it was just, they came out flat. Henley, 21 points again. You can't
One of
stop.
the sickest ducks I've ever seen, by the way, in the first half from Henley.
I mean, everything they threw at him defensively was not working. He was penetrating the gaps all night long. And it just feels like when you're looking at San Diego State, I mean, like even in that game, there's been a lot of slow starts recently. I mean, if we remember Utah State, remember how dreadful that game was the first 6 minutes on both ways. It was a defensive slugfest. And then in this one, it just felt like the Aztecs, it took a while for them to get going. And they try to claw their way back into it with that, that big Miles Bird layup down the stretch there, that big shot, cutting it to 7. But you kind of keep giving these teams these leads, and you've done it to Grand Canyon twice, and both times you've come up short. And it's a disappointing loss because you really felt like that was a golden opportunity to take a jump up. And now the Aztecs got a real uphill battle to get an at-large bid for the tournament.
Yeah, we can talk about it. I know Rothstein on the post-game show last night had comments about where the Aztecs are. If you look at Lenardi's bracketology, as of yesterday before the game, San Diego State was literally the last team in to March Madness. So you would assume after the game, when he has his newest projections out, they will be outside the field looking in. And they didn't take a huge hit on net or KenPom. They dropped a couple spots in KenPom and 3 spots in the net ranking because of that game last night. And they do still have opportunities down the line, but here's the difference. Now San Diego State needs help. Whereas coming into that Grand Canyon game, if you took care of your business, you probably could have just been able to go grab an at-large bid, even with a loss on the road at New Mexico. Well, all that's kind of gone out the window because that was assuming holding perfect at home, which San Diego State probably needed to do if they wanted to control their own destiny for an at-large bid. So you're no longer perfect at home. You lose to Grand Canyon yesterday. Well, what does that mean now? Grand Canyon is a quad 3 loss. San Diego State probably can't afford to have a quad 3 loss like that on their record come tournament time because they already have a bad loss on their record with Troy early in the season. So what you need to do is Grand Canyon needs to go out and win the rest of their games to try to bump that up to being a quad 2 loss on your home court instead of a quad 3 loss. And what you need is to probably beat Utah State by 15 or 20 points on your home court. Now, these are all hypotheticals. Obviously, teams around the bubble can move down. Aztecs can move right back up. Everything is kind of flowing right now. But in my mind, in my opinion, what needs to happen is Grand Canyon needs to win out for San Diego State to get in, mixed with San Diego State, A, not losing another game, and B, beating Utah State at home by 15 points. Is any of that easy? No, and it might be impossible. And winning at New Mexico is going to be really, really tough. So San Diego State's got an uphill battle, like Sammy just said, and it is possible. But as of right now, it's hard to see it happening. So I don't know where the Aztecs go from here. Obviously, you don't just want to turn all focus to the Mountain West tournament and think that's your last shot because they do still have a shot here in the regular season. But it's going to be really, really tough, and you need some help all the way around you.
Right. They gave up all their room for error. There's zero room for error. And if they're perfect, it still might not be enough. I mean, you have multiple big-time opportunities down the stretch here with Utah State, but it's hard because when you take this team with what they can be, if you take this team on their best day, you feel like they could beat a lot of teams in the country. But the problem has been inconsistent play, and it's kind of shocking to me because last year, I think the team was just a lot more top heavy. It was really Nick Boyd, Miles Bird, and McGoon Guath, and BJ Davis kind of came through late, but that was about it for consistent scores last year. And this year they have so many options. They haven't really been able to put it together. And you felt like over the Mountain West Conference play, overall, they've been good, but I mean, it's hard over this kind of, the Mountain West Conference is a very even keeled conference. A lot of these teams know each other very well. There's not a huge top end that's fantastic, but they're tough teams to play. And overall in the Mountain West Conference schedule, they've been good. But when you have such a rough players era tournament and you have that Troy loss hanging over your head, you really have to be perfect. And this is the shame of playing the Mountain West, and no shots to the Mountain West. It's just when you play in the Big 12 and you can schedule, you got Kansas, Arizona, and Iowa State, and all these teams, the SEC, you can make up these losses like that. Like they honestly don't even really matter because you could just get big marquee wins. The Aztecs, outside of that Utah State game, there's not a lot of opportunities remaining for a big marquee win in the regular season.
New Mexico on the road would be huge. They're above San Diego State in both net and KenPom, so that would be massive. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Last thought on last night's game, you're probably not going to win very many games when Reese Dixon Waters is 2 for 10, Magoon Guath is 2 for 8, and BJ Davis is 2 for 9. It really was just the inefficiency on offense and the amount of turnovers that the Aztecs had that led to points for Grand Canyon. So it's unfortunate, but now you just kind of got to turn back around and understand that you got a really tough road test with Colorado State coming up this weekend, Utah State back at home, New Mexico on the road, and then you finish up with UNLV. It's not over by any stretch of the imagination, but it is an uphill battle from now on. All right, we're going to get to the big three here of hour number one, where Sammy rips through the top stories in the world of sports. We also got those SDFC tickets for you to qualify for, so keep listening for the sounder. We'll play it for you in a little bit so you know what it sounds like. But Sammy, smash.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
Can we talk about this rain? Like, what's been going on? So, like, last night, the heavens opened up and started pouring on us pregame. It wasn't supposed to start raining until 11 o'clock. And I don't know about up north where you are, Sammy, but in East County, I'm in La Mesa. Last night, at about 2:30, 3 a.m., it seemed like someone was outside my front window taking buckets of water and just smashing them into my front window. Kept me up all night, which was great.
Well, San Diego's so weird because it'll rain like really hard for 30 minutes and then it'll stop and then it'll do it again later. Like it was kind of just spitting all night. It was, yeah.
And the wind was crazy. It was like there was a tornado going on and thunder and lightning. And
it needs to stop. We don't live here to have rain.
Dude, my morning shower this morning, I like to have the window open when I shower in the morning. And I'm looking out the window and all of a sudden, like my backyard is light. Like it's bright outside because lightning was just going crazy. I don't know where we live anymore, Sammy. It's chaos. Where would you like to start?
Let's head to the NFL.
Okay.
The Seahawks, Super Bowl champs. Two big storylines in the last 2 days. So, they're selling the team today, which was kind of reported last week, but they're exploring the sale of the team, which is kind of crazy to begin with that they just won a Super Bowl.
Sell high.
So, yeah, I guess it's a good point. You buy low, sell high. But they're not tagging Kenneth Walker. So, star running back, Super Bowl MVP was literally one of the main reasons they won that game against New England. Was fantastic after Charbonnet went down the last couple weeks. What do you make of the Seahawks potentially letting Kenneth Walker walk in the offseason?
I see what you did there. Nicely done.
I didn't even mean to do that, but it just happened.
It was cool. Take credit for it and own it. Yeah, look, Kenneth Walker, I think, is a really good piece. Kenneth Walker's also a running back, which have become expendable in the NFL. He's not Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, Josh Jacobs even. He is a tier below them. So the tier below guys, you got to cut before you pay him too much money. And I think that's where the Seahawks are with him. Plus, Zach Charbonnet is excellent. We don't know how he's going to recover from this injury. But multiple times this year, we talked to our buddy Stan Lazinski, who is our fantasy football expert, also a diehard Seahawks fan. He was like, yeah, Zach Charbonnet is just better than Kenneth Walker is at this point. So maybe they're showing a little faith in the backup running back in Zach Charbonnet. And you would imagine you could go back into the draft and get him a running piece to have that 1-2 combo still. It's just not going to be Kenneth Walker anymore because Kenneth Walker now costs $7 or $8 million instead of $2 or $3 million. It seems pretty simple to me, actually.
I think it's smart because I think there's this narrative in whatever sport that it's, if you win a chip, you have to run the same group back. That's not how dynasties are built. Like, look at the Patriots, look at the Chiefs, look at the Warriors. Look at You know what? I'm not going to let you bother me today because, like, I'm not even going to get into the Niners and what that is. You know what? By the way, you know what this fool tells me last night in between breaks on the Aztecs pregame? Yeah. He's like, do you know what quarterback has the highest passer rating of what, a minimum 1,000 passing attempts?
1,200 passing attempts.
And Brett and I are like, is it going to be Brock Purdy? Because
in
of course,
NFL history, Sammy, it is Brock Purdy.
How many rings do you have? Anyway, for teams that have won rings, and the Seahawks and Chiefs, you can kind of speak about this. The Seahawks, this is smart. I mean, you don't want to just pay a guy. All credit's Kenneth Walker. He's unbelievable running back. Wherever he ends up going, if he comes back to Seattle, if he goes somewhere else, he's going to be great. But teams, when they have success, can overpay players because they want to bring the band back together. And this is how you recycle dynasty. This is how you create a dynasty, is constantly kind of selling players high and realizing that Kenneth Walker's great. And his service, if he's on a manageable price, it's good for the Seahawks. But overpaying for a running back when you already have Zach Charbonnet in the backfield and you're John Snyder, great drafter, this is smart to not overpay for Kenneth Walker. All right, let's stay in the NFL. Let's go to my Chiefs. So interesting.
Shall we? What, you want Kenneth Walker on your team?
Actually, that'd be fantastic. But let's
Kenneth Walker and Brees.
We're going to go to it before the text line 70470. Second message with team starts going in on this.
Oh, you want to talk about Rashee Rice?
Rashee Rice, alleged assault charges brought on him today, but Mahomes the same day reworks his cap space to free up $43 million for the Chiefs. They're still $11 million over the cap, but it's expected that Chris Jones will be reworking his deal and Jawan Taylor might be cut. So if Rashee Rice is unavailable for next year, where do you put the Chiefs right now? What is the next move for Kansas City?
Well, they probably need to draft wide receiver to replace Rashee Rice, but in the short term, I would be going after Kenneth Walker, Breece Hall. I would be going after offensive pieces and maybe even Tyreek Hill for a reunion because you're going to need it. Look, you look at the Chiefs team last year, the defense was a problem, but also the lack of weapons was a problem. And it took a while for Rashee Rice to get back into the team with his suspension and making his way back to the team. And that may be the same situation this offseason. So this is about weapons right now. And who can you get to bring into the Kansas City Chiefs to round out the offense a little bit and help Mahomes out? Because, yes, while I talk a big game, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. And he didn't look like it last year. And I would largely say that's because of the pieces around him and not necessarily him. So, Sammy, you talk about it all the time, like who you want with that top pick in the draft. Has that changed? Because you were going defense earlier. Now you may be going offense.
It depends. I'd probably
is it number 8?
9.
Number 9.
I'd probably still go defense. I'd probably still go pass rusher because the Chiefs, obviously Tyreek Hill's a free agent. I think the Chiefs with Mahomes, when you have a great quarterback, you can always get mediocre receivers to become better receivers and things like that. Like it is a need, but I wouldn't necessarily just get a receiver because of this. It's frustrating. Obviously it's a ledge, but if he's out for a long time, this is a big hit for the Chiefs.
I mean, he may never play another game for the Chiefs again.
Right. I mean, you're getting to a point if all this happens, if this is real he basically screwed the Chiefs last year. I mean, the first 6 months or first 6 games, he was out. There was a big problem with the Chiefs record during that time, not having an offense. The Chiefs definitely got to get some weapons. Tyreek Hill, I think, has to come back in the fold, but you have to get a running game. So Jeremiah Love out of Notre Dame, Kenneth Walker, Breece Hall, I agree with you on that end. You got to get some weapons for Patrick because it feels like all the resources go to the defense a lot of the time, and Patrick is constantly having to work with maybe not A-plus weapons, and I think it showed last year.
How strange. We never talk about with Mahomes, if he doesn't have a team around him, how bad he looks, but everybody else, that's what we talk about. All right, it's San Diego Sports.
But that's what happens when you win Super Bowls. You get the benefit of the doubt.
We're going to take a quick break here. On the other side,
look at what Brock Purdy does when he doesn't have Trent Williams.
Big 3, number 3 is going to be about the NBA, and I love this topic, so we'll dive into it on the other side. Plus, we're going to play you that sounder. It's not time to call. We're going to play it for you on the other side so you know what it sounds like. So later in the show, you can call and light up the phone lines for those SDFC tickets. It's San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760. I'll be honest, I had no idea there was a remix to the Weird Al song that this song is based off of, but the remix is pretty cool.
What did you say?
I had no idea that somebody remixed Weird Al's song.
Oh, yeah. Please don't spread fake news.
It's San Diego Sports 760.
Don't disrespect the legend Coolio like that.
Sammy Long with you until 2 o'clock today. John Schaefer is going to take over then. If it's your first time checking us out, we appreciate you being here. My name is Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long. We do this show on a daily basis. We talk gambling. We talk Aztecs. We talk Padres. We talk NFL. We have a lot of fun here on the show. Sammy, do you have the sounder for the SDFC tickets that we're going to be giving away in a little bit?
I do have it.
Okay. I would like to play this and warn everybody. This is not the time to call. This is when we are showing you what the sounder sounds like. So you know when the time to call is a little bit later on when Sammy jumps in and interrupts whatever we're saying.
On the other side, Anders, 1v3. Anders on his left. Anders, goal. El Paletero. Golazo.
That is the sounder for you to call 877-767-4760.
Don't call right now.
Don't call right now. But when you hear that the next time, it will be time for you to call. And by calling, and if you're call number 7, you qualify to win a pair of tickets to this Saturday's game, as well as a team jersey. We're going to be giving those away on Friday during John's show, and we'll draw a name out of a hat and give it to one lucky listener who's going to be going to the game on Saturday night with a brand new SDFC jersey. With all that being said, you never know when that's going to happen, but it's going to happen soon. So get ready for it. Our friend Alicia commenting on YouTube saying, thank you again. And for any listener who has not been to an Aztec game, the environment is electric. Go. It was a lot of fun in the first half last night at Viejas Arena. That place was popping, man, especially when the Aztecs went on a run at the end of the first half. And then they could just never capture that back. And so for San Diego State, rough loss last night. We'll see how it goes the rest of the season. Sammy, big 3, number 3 was going to be about the NBA. You want to let it rip what it was?
Yeah. So Kevin Durant, allegedly people found. Now, Kevin Durant has been known to call people out on Twitter. He likes instigating with trolls. He likes going back and forth with what random fans for what they DM him. Now, apparently there's a burner account that goes back years. And
Kevin Durant burner? What?
So they thought they found this Kevin Durant burner account where he basically called out his teammates, Alperen Şengün, Jabari Smith, for turning the ball over. He basically has called out teammates throughout his career under these burner accounts, as well as other players in the NBA. So they asked Kevin Durant about this, and let's just say he didn't really quiet any concerns. He said, quote, I know you've got to ask these questions, but I'm not here to get into Twitter nonsense. I'm just here to focus on the season, keep it pushing. What he didn't do there was deny that that was his burner account.
This isn't the first time we've heard about Kevin Durant and burner accounts. This goes back years, and it's long been alleged, long been suspected, long been proven that KD does have active fingers on social media, sometimes not under KD's name.
What do you make of, like, because when I see like athletes call them burner accounts, I'm like, I would have more respect if you just said it from your main account.
Well, that's kind of the thing, right? So Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, they didn't play in the era of social media. Kobe might have been there for the tail end of it, but didn't really play in it. However, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan also would just go up to somebody and punch him.
Right. They just say it. They'd be like,
say it right to their face. And so I think that Kevin Durant is such a unique superstar that we've had in the NBA where I don't know that I can name 5 people more talented in my lifetime or maybe in the history of the NBA than Kevin Durant. There's nobody who's ever had the skill set, the height, the length, the athleticism that Kevin Durant's had, as well as the shooting ability, the moment for clutch. Like KD has everything you could ever want. However, it does seem like mentally he's kind of a child. And this isn't the first time we've had situations like this. So KD is a little ridiculous to me. But if you separate KD's brain from KD, the basketball player, man, I don't know that we've ever seen someone as special.
Kevin Durant he's an unbelievable player. He's one of the greatest pure scorers of all time, but Kevin Durant doesn't like what comes with being one of the best pure scorers of all time, and the money and the fame and the girls and the cars and everything that comes with that.
He wants to play video games and basketball, and that's it.
And he doesn't want to be criticized. And so Kevin Durant has openly said before, I don't understand why I'm not in the GOAT conversation. This is a man who has 2 rings, and the only 2 rings he won, he went and joined the Golden State Warriors, a team who beat him in the Western Conference Finals when he was with Oklahoma City. So, yes, you won 2 rings. Yes, you're an all-time great. You're an amazing scorer. If it was a one-on-one competition with the history of the league, Kevin Durant would have a shot to win a lot of those 1v1s. But the problem is, when you have that level of talent and you're a max level contract player. And the only place it's worked was in Golden State. When you joined the dynasty, it didn't work in Brooklyn. It didn't work in Phoenix. It didn't work in Oklahoma City. We'll see. The jury's still out on if it works in Houston. It hasn't really worked up until this point in terms of they're not a favorite to win the title. Could they? Yes. So we'll see. But it's just funny to me how Kevin Durant gets so agitated with people for just calling him out for facts. Like, you haven't won a ring besides the two you won with Golden State. And if I was a teammate, if I was Jabari Smith or Alperen Şengün, I would be pissed off. I would be like, hey, KD, like, if you got a problem with me, you say it to my face. You don't go backdoor it on Twitter with your burner accounts and try to start a thread trashing me online.
The text line is very funny. I don't know if you've read any of these today. We'll get to some of them on the other side, but 70470, start your message with the word team. If you're here today, we'd love to interact with you. So YouTube chat's open at San Diego Sports 760. Text line is always open, 70470, start your message with the word team. Sammy, did that goal count for Team USA?
I was looking down. I didn't see
it. I didn't see it either, but I think it counted. So Team USA, no, it didn't.
No, it didn't. That was an old game.
Okay.
They're playing Sweden right now. Sweden is the number one threat to Canada or the US because they're the only other team in the field that is made up of all NHL players.
This is it's intense so far. This is a very physical game that's going on between Team USA and Sweden, and US obviously needs it. This is the knockout round, so this is the quarterfinals for the Olympic gold medal. We'll see if Team USA can pull it out. All right, your text on the other side, plus your first opportunity to qualify to win SDFC tickets on the other side. Don't go anywhere. It's San Diego Sports 760. We're also going to play you some sound from Manny Machado next, live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey, it's Fletch for Valley View Casino and Hotel, and you can join Valley View Casino and Hotel coming up on Friday, February 27th from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. for a spectacular giveaway. The 3 C's, cash, cash, and more cash. This month's winner can go home with $35,000 in cash, or you could risk it all and spin for the ultimate prize of $100,000 on their cash wheel, plus an additional $30,000 in cash and free more play will be given away to 70 lucky winners throughout the night. You can earn entries all month long by playing slot or table games, and then activate your entries on the day of the giveaway at the guest service kiosks located throughout the casino. Do not miss this event. The 3 C's coming up on February 27th at Valley View Casino and Hotel. All Players Club members are eligible to win. And if you're not a Players Club member yet, signing up is always quick, easy, and free. Plus, when you join the Players Club, you're going to get over $200 in free offers to use at San Diego's favorite casino, like free offers to enjoy instantly, including $10 of more play, which is free slot play, $10 of match play, $20 to the Black and Blue Steakhouse, $10 to Patties and Pints, which is some of the best burgers in San Diego, man. Get on out to the Valley View Casino Hotel, and the more you use that Players Club card on all your favorite slots or table games, the more rewards you're going to earn, like complimentary dining, free hotel stays, luxury gifts, and invitations to exclusive events. To learn more, you can visit valleyviewcasino.com. All guests 21 and over are invited to enjoy the casino, hotel, and restaurants.
The sport is sponsored by Allstate. San Diego State, rough loss at the hands of the Grand Canyon Lopes, 73-63 yesterday. They'll be back in action on the road Saturday at 3:00 against Colorado State. Of course, you can hear that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. And Kyrie Irving, who has missed all of this season, was trying to come back during the year, but he will confirm today, miss the rest of the season, eyes a 2026-2027 return. Some people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 today. John Schaefer is going to take over then. And hey, coming up this weekend, SDFC opening up the 2026 MLS season on Saturday night at Snapdragon Stadium against CF Montreal. And we want to send you to the game. So you got to be listening from noon to 6 today, all the way through Thursday, which is tomorrow, for your chance to win a pair of tickets to the game, plus a team jersey. Just listen for that SDFC sounder. We're going to play it once per hour. Once you hear it, be caller number 7, and you're going to qualify for the tickets and the jersey. We'll announce the winner on Friday. You can hear SDFC all season long right here on San Diego Sports 760. We played you the sounder just about 10 minutes ago, but if you missed it, it's going to be obvious. We're going to play it again here coming up within the next 10 minutes, so don't go anywhere. And that sounder is your cue to call. 877-767-4760.
You win tickets.
If you are call number 7, Sammy writes you down on a little piece of paper over there. And coming up on Friday, we're going to rip all those names apart, put them all into a hat, and one name is going to come out. You're going to win a pair of tickets to the home opener. You're also going to win an SDFC jersey. So pretty cool prize here to open up the MLS season of 2026. Coming up in a little bit, Chris McVey, who's a standout defender on SDFC, is going to be joining the show right at 1:00. We got some fun questions to ask Chris, get to know him a little better as this season's about to begin. He was a cornerstone for SDFC a year ago. We'll see how he's feeling about the squad heading into 2026. But another thing that's starting here pretty soon, we're about a month away from Padres baseball being in our living rooms every single night of the year. And it's funny, when you get to spring training, you never really know what the buttons are going to be. Like last year, we kind of thought it was going to be about the lawsuit between Shiel Seidler and the Seidler brothers. And it really didn't have that much of an impact on spring training or as the season would go on, outside of a couple questions thrown around. Well, this year it's across Major League Baseball. It's not just secluded to the Padres. It's not just secluded to the Phillies, but every superstar in every clubhouse is being asked about the Los Angeles Dodgers. And so Manny Machado was asked about the Los Angeles Dodgers, and Manny had some interesting quotes. He said, I love what that's Bryce Harper. Manny said, I think every team has the ability to do it. I hope all 30 teams learn from that. He also said, I effing love it. Every team should be doing it. That's S is effing great for the game. Talking about the Los Angeles Dodgers and what they're doing. And if you were to ask me, honestly, what my opinion on Manny Machado saying all this is, I would say, duh, Manny Machado would like to make a lot of money. And Manny Machado is making a lot of money. And Manny Machado would like to continue making a lot of money. But is it really good for the game? Is the question I would ask Manny.
I got to say, I've been very hard on Manny Machado. This is one of the first times I completely agree with everything he said.
Well, from a player's point of view, sure.
Even from
baseball?
Even from a fan, check this out. Everyone always says the Dodgers because the Dodgers win, obviously. And what Harper and Machado and these guys are trying to say to the biggest stars in baseball, and yes, is the disparity a big deal? Does it create a little bit of an imbalance? But it's like, I mean, are you knocking the Dodgers for trying to win? I mean,
no, of course not. Here's what Bryce Harper said, so you know it's coming from multiple angles. He said, I love what the Dodgers do. I mean, they pay the money, they spend the money, and they're a great team. They run their team like a business, and they run it the right way. Each team in baseball has an opportunity to do the same thing. Maybe not at the upper echelon of money, but they can draft, they can develop, they can trade. I think a lot of teams can do that in baseball, and they should.
Right. So it's like the bigger problem. Everyone focuses on the Dodgers. The bigger problem is that half the MLB owners don't spend. That's the bigger problem. Can the Dodgers spend more money because they have a TV deal and they're literally the biggest thing going on in Asia right now? Yes. But it's when people go, oh, the Dodgers are the problem. It's like, what is Andrew Friedman supposed to do? Not sign good players? Like if Kyle Tucker comes to them and goes, I want to be a Los Angeles Dodger, Edwin Diaz got offered more money. The Mets could have matched the offer and they didn't. And they chose not to do that, and he wanted to be a Dodger. So people get pissed off at the Dodgers, and I get it because they win, so they're the big bad enemy. But the bigger problem in baseball is you have the Marlins, and you have the Pirates, and you have these teams in the A's who have zero shot of winning. I mean, you can scratch their name off the second first pitch happens on opening day because you know they are not even going to compete because they told you that in the offseason. So yes, does Machado and Harper, these guys have different motives? Do they want to selfishly get paid? Yes, but theoretically what he's saying, the Dodgers trying to win every year should be how every team attacks the MLB offseason.
You're right. And in a perfect world, that's exactly what would happen. However, there is an inequity here. And there is a difference between the Dodgers and pretty much every other team. There's not a huge difference between the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Mets, and hell, put the Padres in there because they're top 5 in spending once again. But there is a difference. The Dodgers are able to do these $700 million contracts for Shohei Ohtani with all the deferred money and make that money back because they have the capital up front. The Dodgers are able to do that. Look what happened to the Padres in like 4 years of spending like a third of what the Dodgers spend regularly. They're in debt.
Right. The Dodgers.
They're losing money based on what they've done. So there is a difference. Like the TV contract is a big thing. There's $10 billion extra dollars that the Dodgers have to play with that other teams just don't have.
The advantage the Dodgers have is when they sign bad contracts like Tanner Scott, they don't get punished by it. They can just go out and sign Edwin Diaz the next year, who's the second best closer in baseball behind Mason Miller. So I hear that argument. I get it. The Dodgers don't get punished like other teams, but in theory, it's like when every team is cost cutting and looking at this thing, half the league is looking at it as how can I just win enough on the margins to where my ticket sales for the ballpark where I'm in the green every year. The Dodgers mindset of that we're going to go out and spend everything we have. And honestly, I don't care if everyone doesn't think it's fair because we're just going to keep stacking up wins. I wish other teams took that narrative because the dirty secret is, yes, do the Dodgers playing in Los Angeles have the ability and branding to make a lot more money than a lot of other people? 100%. But a lot of these owners that cry poor and talk about how, oh, we don't have the money could spend a lot more money than they
Absolutely. And they don't. And that's a huge problem with baseball. And that's why owners want a salary cap. So there's a limit on how much they have to spend every single year. And we'll see if that comes to fruition. I would also say this is less about the Dodgers and this is more about positioning. Notice Manny Machado and Bryce Harper said nearly the exact same thing. These are two players who are heavily involved at the leadership level of Major League Baseball players. And they're two stars who, when they talk, people listen. Right. So if you're telling me this wasn't a little bit coordinated, thinking about the fight that's about to happen between the players and the owners, I'd tell you to get lost because clearly this is less about the Dodgers and this is more about the fact that Bryce Harper and Manny Machado, not only for their sakes, but for the people who are coming after them, want to make sure every player in Major League Baseball gets as much money as they possibly can get.
Agreed. And people also, I think we're at a crossroads. I mentioned this yesterday. It's like fans want everything to be fair. From a fan's perspective, yes, it'd be great. Like, the NBA in the NFL where there is a salary cap and every team is paying the same amount of money and it's how you distribute those resources. But just because players are going out there and trying to win doesn't mean, as evidenced by Manny Machado and Bryce Harper, a lot of players are cool with like, hey, you know what? There's a pay disparity. As long as I'm getting my chips, honestly, if it comes at the cost of us being able to win a World Series or have less of a chance to win a World Series, a lot of players are fine with that. I just like what Manny Machado was saying overall in that the Dodgers mindset of we're going to go try and win every single season. I wish a lot more teams would adopt that. And yes, there is a pay disparity, but there's a lot of owners that cry poor that could spend a lot more money and have their teams being a lot more competitive than they are simply because they don't want to put themselves in the red.
However, this is all propaganda. And everything we're going to hear from players and owners over the next season is going to be a little bit of propaganda. There's going to be alternate motives behind it. Like this is literally just Manny Machado and Bryce Harper trying to weaken the owner's argument for putting in a salary cap. That's what this is in my eyes. And I would highly doubt the two guys who play in the National League. And what did Manny say last spring training about the Dodgers? Is something about we're going to F them beat them. We're going to do something. Or we're effing better than them. I can't remember exactly what he said. But
we're not scared of them, I think was what
this
he
is
said.
A very different tone that Manny's carrying this offseason where he's like, oh, I love what they're doing. This is great for baseball.
It's funny, though, that
ultimately it's not great for baseball.
A guy like Machado Machado and Harper are getting paid no matter what. But it's funny because the salary cap would curtail their spending. Now
they're fighting for the future, and they're also fighting for this. Whatever line gets drawn in the sand by owners when this new collective bargaining agreement is reached, what happens if there's a lockout? Do you think those checks are still clearing in a lockout?
The biggest thing a salary cap affects is your middling players. The NBA, a lot of times, the best thing to be is a 3-and-D young player. Because you get overpaid because every team wants a 3-and-D player. They want a guy who plays defense and hit 3-point shots. So if you're a middle tier guy, you probably get paid like an A-level basketball player when you're really just a B-level basketball player. That's in baseball. I mean, that is beyond. I mean, you see guys who are decent to above average baseball players getting chipped out left and right because they're just throwing money around the top couple teams. It is a salary cap would regulate that. And a salary cap is why the players, Manny Machado and them are looking out for the Jay Cronenworths, the guys like this who are your middling players who probably get paid above salary than they should. But overall, I think the more problem is people not spending money than the Dodgers' aggressive mindset.
All right, I'm going to read some of these texts. Sammy, get that sounder ready. 913 says Rashee Rice is the John Morant of the NFL. He needs an accountability partner, security guard, ensuring he doesn't do something stupid. 619 Chiefs can only win with criminals on their team. Sad. 913.
That's just crazy.
KD should have just done the Shohei. Let Ipe Mitsuhara be his burner account. It worked out for Shohei. 858 saying KD, just put your name on it. Yeah, all great advice for Kevin Durant and the Kansas City Chiefs.
But by the way, right now, speaking of the Kansas City Chiefs, Tyreek Hill, geotagged on Snapchat. Guess what city he's in?
Yeah, obviously Patrick Mahomes just took a giant pay cut. Or not a pay cut, took a giant signing bonus. A ton of money just hit Patty's bank account today to be able to.
All I'm saying is Cheetah posted 1142 from Kansas City.
Very happy.
I wonder why he's in Kansas City in the middle.
Very
of winter.
Happy for you, Sammy. Play that sounder. Come on, let's get some people some SDFC tickets.
On the other side, Anders, 1v3. Anders on his left. Anders, goal. El paletero. Param, param, pam, param, pam, pam. Golazo.
877-767-4760. If you're caller number 7, you're going to qualify to win a pair of SDFC tickets plus an SDFC jersey to wear to this weekend's match against Montreal. Call right now, 877-767-4760. Long shots next, live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2. Coming up in about 10 minutes, Chris McVey is going to join us here on the show, defender for SDFC, talk about the upcoming season and the upcoming matchup with Montreal this Saturday. The Brian Dutcher Coaches Show is back tomorrow night, 6 o'clock. John and the Aztecs head coach are going to be looking back at last night's loss against Grand Canyon and previewing Saturday's game at Colorado State. The Brian Dutcher Coaches Show, Thursdays at 6, right here on your home for the Aztecs, San Diego Sports 760. Text line 70470. Start your message with the word team. 913. Sammy, you know Cheetah likes those KC girls.
Yes, he does.
Girls with 3 Z's.
913.
858. Manny is officially on my last nerve. I don't care what it is, but if the Dodgers do it or like it, Manny needs to hate it. Last nerve, Manny. I hope you feel the urgency heading into 2026. 858. Y'all, I don't know if you missed it since I've been so busy this week, but did you guys talk about Michael Jordan? WTF was he on with that child? LMAO. I saw this at Daytona 500. Weird. And sometimes when I don't know what to say about something, I just don't talk about it. So weird is my...
I didn't see this.
It was weird is the words. Weird.
Okay. I'm not going to comment because I didn't see it.
I'm going to say there's some sort of misunderstanding going around because I don't know, but weird is what was happening with Michael Jordan. And so 858, that is my conclusion on that. Every day around this time, we do something called long shots. Now, last night, UCLA decided to take long shots and crumple it up and throw it in the dumpster.
Can we talk about Mick Cronin for a second?
Mick Cronin throwing his own player out of a game?
Mick, hey, buddy, we need them to cover the spread.
UCLA fans are calling for Mick Cronin to be fired today.
I mean, I don't know if I go that far. Mick Cronin's a great head coach, but it's like he throws some guy out of the game, then he snaps on a reporter for asking about it, like understandably. I mean, what coach tosses his own player out of a game? I mean, that like I've never seen that. I've never seen it. I've seen a star player basically tell the coach he's out. I have never seen a coach throw their own player out of a game, but very odd. So UCLA basketball no longer being picked to cover spreads.
Blacklisted.
I believed in them. I thought after their horrible performance against Michigan, I thought they would bounce back. But I believe it's one of the first times in program history, back-to-back 30-plus point losses. So Donovan Dent and the Bruins have been blacklisted.
John Wooden is looking down in disappointment. Look, I don't know what happened between Mick Cronin and the player who he ejected. I will say I've been on a basketball team before where somebody got ejected by our coach mid-game, and it was well-deserved.
How old are you?
I was like 17 at the time.
Can we make a rule in the show that you don't compare your high school basketball career at Merced High to
Golden Valley High School, actually.
College basketball,
Merced
massive
High
programs that have won national championships before?
Merced High were a bunch of scrubs, and that's just what we'll say with this. Golden Valley High School was where the elite athletes went. But I'm just saying, I've been in a situation where someone has been tossed out in the middle of the game by a head coach, and at the time it was well-deserved. And so maybe Mick Cronin was right in his position of throwing out a player. Maybe. Can you not see a possibility where that exists?
I know. I'm just thinking.
Or maybe
about
the player
Ben
was
Fletcher's
a detriment to the team.
High school highlights.
Maybe the player was a detriment to the team, and maybe he was saying some stuff that was causing problems in the huddle. And
all I know is they didn't cover the spread, so I don't really care.
I would actually defend Mick Cronin on this. All right, Sammy, long shots today. We need ourselves a winner, so keep UCLA far, far away from this, and let's get to it. Go ahead, smash that button.
You looking for some luck? Want to win big? Gotta play big.
You are so money, we don't even know it.
Time to take a chance
Pay that man his money.
with long shots.
5 minutes away, Chris McVey is going to be joining the show. Can't wait to chat with him. Defender for SDFC, getting us ready for SDFC's season. Shammy, where are we going?
All right, college basketball parlay association's back tomorrow night, so we're gonna have a little more options. But we're going college basketball tonight. All right, first pick, Arizona BYU. Give me Arizona covering the spread, 11.5. Arizona coming off a tough loss against Texas Tech. Arizona, I think you're dominating everyone. You're undefeated, I believe, through the first 22 games. You lose in Lawrence against Kansas with no Darren Peterson. Texas Tech, really good performance by them. They really needed a resume-building game to try to up their seed line. But again, BYU has lost their second-best player for the year last week. Sad for the BYU Cougars, but Arizona at home, 11.5. This is a get-right game. I think this is a domination by Koa Pete and Burrows and for Arizona. So covering the spread, minus 11.5. We're also going Kansas, Oklahoma State on the road in Oklahoma State. Tough place to play, usually for the Jayhawks, but I do like Kansas in the spot. Give me Kansas covering the spread, 6.5. Kansas, I told you over the weekend, I thought they were going to get dominated by Iowa State. They did. Iowa State had their get back after Kansas, after going on this run. Their first kind of signature win came against Iowa State at the Fog about 3 to 4 weeks ago. But Oklahoma State, 16-9 on the season. They average about 85 points per game, but they give up about 82 points per game. Kansas in that defense only allowing 68 points per game. I think KU covers the spread, 6.5 down there in Oklahoma State. And then let's go to Gonzaga, San Francisco. Gonzaga favored by 14.5 in San Fran. Give me the Zags. The Zags are a very underrated team right now. I think a couple weeks out from the tournament, everyone's kind of forgotten about them. They had that crazy loss to Portland. They literally lost to Portland College 87-80 2 weeks ago. And because of the schedule they play, they don't have a lot of resume building wins. So I think people kind of went out on the Zags. But let's remember, Graham Ike, who's been there forever. We've seen him play down here in San Diego State when they were visiting. Braden Huff. This team has a lot of big-time scores. They're trying to rebuild this resume, so they're back on the 2-seed line for March Madness. I think they dominate San Francisco, covering the spread 14.5. So to recap, Zags covering the spread against San Francisco, minus 14.5. Give me Arizona at home, covering the spread, minus 11.5. BYU still transitioning to playing without one of their best players. And I think Kansas on the road covers 6.5, getting a little get back after that blowout loss to Iowa State.
Let's get a winner. Jay Silves on YouTube saying, what's the highest sports bet you two have ever placed? For me, it's easy. It was Circa Survivor, $500.
Well, does that count as a
Kind of.
Well, I guess
if we're talking on a single game, probably $100.
Yeah. Okay. On a single. Oh, I dropped 300 on a fight one time.
Did you win?
No, I picked Errol Spence to beat Terrence Crawford. That did not work out for everyone involved.
Yeah, Bud Crawford. That was the start of his run of dominance here. Probably $100. I think I've had that on a couple different Super Bowls. I don't know that I've ever won one of my biggest bets, but I win big on random bets.
So, Jay Sills, what's yours? We'd like to hear from you guys. 70470. Start your message with team. Biggest bet you've ever placed.
I'd love to hear it. All right, coming up next, Chris McVey. He's a defender for SDFC. He's going to be jumping on with us, talk some SDFC ahead of their season getting going coming up on Saturday. It's San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by mattress firm Rough Outing for the Aztecs last night, losing by 10 at home against Grand Canyon. They'll be back on Saturday, early tip time at 3 o'clock. Hear the game right here on San Diego Sports 760 with Schaefer on the call. Fletch, get your pregame starting at 2. They'll be taking on Colorado State, who brings in a record of 15-10. And Kyrie Irving is set to miss the rest of the season. They were trying to bring him back at some point, but after trading Anthony Davis in their record likely not being in playoff position, Kyrie Irving has shut it down. Score major deals on top brands at Mattress Firm's President's Day sale. Find your dream mattress today. Their sleep experts are highly trained to find the right one to fit your unique needs. They make sleep easy.
It's hour number 2 here on San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John Schaefer is going to take over then. Chris McVey is going to be joining us in about 10 minutes, running a little late. I am curious if Chris McVey is as locked into this hockey match as we are, because Chris hails from Sweden, Sammy. I don't think I knew that until just a couple minutes ago here. But is Chris McVey watching the same matchup we're watching with different intentions?
I don't know, but shout out to Chris McVey, but hopefully things don't go well for the Swedes right now. It's 0-0.
This is a crazy game
In this beginning of the second period right now. Again, Sweden is the only team other than Canada and America that is made up of all NHL players.
I'll bet you Chris is watching. All right. It is San Diego Sports 760. If you missed it all week long, we're doing a qualifier for you to win a pair of tickets to SDFC's home opener this season against Montreal on Saturday night at Snapdragon Stadium. In order to qualify, you need to be listening for a sounder. In the first hour, we played that sounder, and Edwin qualified to win those tickets,
Big Edwin,
which will be given out on Friday. So we have not played the qualifier for hour number 2 yet. So keep listening. Once you hear the sounder, it's a very familiar voice. It's Mr. Adrian Garcia Marquez on the call of an SDFC match. Once you hear that, call in at 877-767-4760 for your chance to qualify to win those SDFC tickets, as well as an SDFC jersey to wear to Saturday's game. Sammy asked the question, what's the biggest bet you've ever placed on a sporting event? SD Tyler said 2 summers ago in Vegas, I had a 3-team money line parlay, Padres, Guardians, and D-backs to win. $100 paid $612.64. Down to the penny, he remembers the win. That's what happens with
Tyler.
gambling.
Hell yeah, dude. Putting $100 parlays together?
I'm down. Let's go to Vegas with Tyler. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And then Jay Silv said he also put $100 on a bet. Text us 70470. Start your message with team.
858 says last season I went back-to-back $400 money line bets with Steelers over Ravens and Bears over Packers.
Damn.
Oh boy, clean it up on the NFL.
400? That's crazy. Maybe if Team USA gets to a gold medal match, I will bet $101 to make it my biggest money line bet.
I'm going to bet
$101.69.
We should pool money for patriotism. 1776.
I like it. I don't have 1776 to throw.
That's why I said pool money, because I don't have that kind of money.
Maybe $177.60. I can do that.
Yeah.
$17.66. I can do that.
Patriotic bets always feel good.
All right. It's San Diego Sports 760. I did want to mention before we get to the big 3 of hour number 2 here, this is going to be very, very quick. Did you see the band that has thrown their hat into the ring to do the Super Bowl next year?
Who?
The Backstreet Boys, promising to bring out a bunch of stars from the late 90s, early 2000s, including Britney Spears.
Oh my God.
I'm kind of here for it. I heard their show at the Sphere was amazing.
Here's the problem with the Backstreet Boys.
I'm kind of here for it.
Here's the problem with the Backstreet Boys. They have
you always say it, Sammy. It's not for us. It's for the ladies.
I know. Yes. But the problem with the Backstreet Boys, though, they only have 3 really famous songs.
Oh, that's not true.
Yes, it is.
I couldn't name them off the top of my head, but exactly. I'm sure they have more.
Boy bands lived for about 2 years in the late 90s.
My sister, who is about to be, I'm about to be 30. She's about to be 38. My sister had every Backstreet Boys song, every Backstreet Boys poster, every Backstreet Boys everything. And we listened to so much Backstreet Boys when I was growing up that I kind of can't stand them now. Although I do think they'd put on a hell of a show for the halftime show.
I'm surprised Miley Cyrus the favorite. Now, she put on a good show.
She would. I think Backstreet Boys would be better, especially if they brought out Britney, especially Britney, modern day
But
Britney.
it's LA centric. The game's in LA. It's supposed to be about the city.
And it's the Backstreet Boys.
They're not from LA.
I don't know where they're from, but I'm sure they lived in LA at some point. All right, Sammy, let's get to the big three here of hour number 2, where you rip through the top stories in the world of sports. Sammy, smash.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
You remember that trip you and I went on to Vegas, Sammy?
Yeah.
My buddy David, while we were there, put $25 on the Super Bowl being Broncos and Rams. Like for those two teams to get to the Super Bowl. What a bad beat. He was a bone mix injury.
What would that have paid?
One better catch from Puka Nacua away from that being the case.
Do you know what it would have paid?
A lot.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly what it was, but a lot.
All right. The NFL. So per reports out of Arizona, expected to move Kyler Murray. This came out a couple days ago. Kyler Murray expected to be on the move, will not be returning to the Arizona Cardinals in the offseason. Where would you like to see Kyler Murray head for next year?
I mean, the logical one to me is the Pittsburgh Steelers, although I don't know if Mike McCarthy is signaling that Aaron Rodgers may come back for another year. That is logical to me if the Steelers want to be kind of good next year. If the Steelers want to completely tank, it makes no sense. The other fit that always sticks out in my mind when we're talking about Kyler Murray is Miami with the Dolphins. I think the offense has already kind of built that direction towards a smaller, faster quarterback, but Tua Tagovailoa hasn't been comfortable or alive for pretty much any of the last couple seasons of Miami Dolphins football. So those would be my two obvious locations, but I'm sure there's 10 spots that I'm leaving out.
Pittsburgh, I think. Pittsburgh, because of the coach they got. They got Mike McCarthy, which signals they're still trying to win.
Right.
Mike McCarthy is not the head coach you hire when you're like, hey, we're going to go through an entire rebuild and we're going to build up from the ground. And I mean, what has Mike McCarthy done mentoring quarterbacks? With all due respect to Mike McCarthy, I mean, Dak got better after he left and before he was there. And Aaron Rodgers, yeah, but Aaron Rodgers was kind of, I mean, should have been the number 1 overall pick. Like he fell in the draft. Mike McCarthy, they're signaling that they want to try to win this season. So if you're Kyler Murray, I mean, this is a guy who was projected to be the next it. He's projected to be the next big-time quarterback. Remember when the Cardinals had one of the top seeds in the NFC? They ended up getting blown out by the Rams in the wild card round. But Kyler Murray, the problems around Kyler Murray has more been about Arizona a little bit, and then not having all the big-time weapons and his personality. That seems like a real thing because guys haven't really come to the defense of Kyler Murray before. But I think Kyler Murray could be a good quarterback in this league. I thought about the Jets, but I would say if you're the Jets, you need to bottom out and get one of these top-tier quarterbacks, and Kyler Murray will win you enough games to where you're not picking in that spot. All right, let's head. NBA gets going second half tomorrow. What is the biggest storyline heading in the second half of the National Basketball Association season?
Here's the biggest storyline I think it's going to be is tanking, unfortunately, because it feels like the bottom half of the NBA is all kind of tanking right now, and Silver's gotten questions about it. It started to heat up over All-Star Weekend. Here's what it should be. Can Victor Wembanyama get to 65 games? Because if he gets to 65 games, he may do a little bit of a clean sweep here with the awards. I think that the second half of the season should be about building up the next big superstar. Wemby won himself a lot of fans over All-Star Weekend because of the intensity that he brought. He may have saved All-Star Weekend. I think he is the right person to maybe hand the keys over of the NBA to. And if he can stay healthy, if he can get to 65 games, maybe win himself an MVP, maybe win himself a Defensive Player of the Year. I'm a fan of Wemby now. Hell, I might be a Spurs fan at this point because I really like what he does for the game.
You're going to get your San Antonio garb on?
Yeah, I could. I got a Manu jersey somewhere.
Really?
I think so, actually. When I was a kid, I had a Manu Ginobili jersey. I love that guy.
I'm going to go with the Eastern Conference. Everyone focused on the West because Oklahoma City and San Antonio, and then you got the Lakers, always a big storyline, the Rockets, a lot of stars in the West. But the Eastern Conference is interesting to me because in a year with no Tyrese Halliburton, we're seeing Jason Tatum is ramping up his play, and he's practicing with the G League roster. Doesn't necessarily mean he's coming back, but that Celtics team has been really good without him. I'm curious, like, what team breaks through? Because Detroit is the 1 seed. The people, they're not the favorite right now. Cleveland's actually the favorite after getting James Harden. You have Detroit, who's young, but you question whether they have a number 2 star. The Celtics are a very good team, but you feel like you need Jason Tatum to get to the NBA Finals. The Knicks are the team that everyone kind of penciled in when Halliburton got hurt last year and Tatum got hurt. And the Knicks are an elite team, but there's questions again. Can Karl Anthony Towns be a number 2 on a finals attending team? And then you got Philly. Are they finally going to be healthy? They have all the offense in the world, but do they have enough defense? Even a team like Toronto has a lot of talent on it. So I'm curious with the odds so narrow. I believe the Knicks, the Pistons, the Cavs are all clumped together at like plus 300 something to win the Eastern Conference. I'm curious who breaks through and can take advantage of a year where Tatum, even if he comes back, is not at 100%, and or Tyrese Halliburton is not there, knowing the Pacers aren't a part of it.
All right, we got some awesome texts and comments coming in. We'll get them all later in the show. But coming up next, we got SDFC defender Chris McVey joining us. Wonder if he's watching some hockey right now, right alongside the rest of us. It's San Diego Sports 760. You'll hear from Chris on the other side, live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. And SDFC is back on Saturday night. They got Montreal at Snapdragon Stadium. We got a pair of tickets for you to win to go to that game, as well as a SDFC jersey. In order to win them, you got to qualify for them. We'll play a sounder for you a little bit later on this hour. Once you hear it, call 877-767-4760, and you will qualify to win those tickets. Random drawing coming up on Friday's show. All right, we got Chris McVey on the line. Chris McVey is a defender for SDFC, played more minutes than just about everybody not named Dryer a year ago for SDFC. A foundational piece of the SDFC team is joining us right now. Chris, how are you? Thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm doing good. Just finished a training session here, so getting ready for the game on Saturday.
Now, I'm curious. I got some notes on you here in front of us, and we know you're from Sweden. Are you watching some hockey right now?
Yeah, I've been following it a little bit, but I haven't been watching, but just following the results.
All right. Well, Team USA and Sweden going head to head right now. So maybe this phone call ends in a fist fight. We'll see what happens, but it's a pleasure to have you on the show, man. And congratulations on the new contract. Congratulations on the year that was with SDFC. That had to be a blast, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was amazing. I mean, from the get-go, when I got out here, the way the fans greeted us from the beginning, it's been great. And then, the season we had and everything, it's been good. So it's nice to build off of for this season.
But so you just re-signed the contract. Like what about San Diego really made you be like, I want to stay here for the long term?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, like just from the get-go when we started here, the way, I individually took steps as a player and us as a team, how we performed and how we play and the city. There's a lot of different steps in making that decision on re-signing here, but it felt right straight away. So super happy to be here for the long term.
Well, you were a cornerstone a year ago, like I said, on the field more than just about anybody not named Anders Dreyer. In the way that you guys played all season long, it took that consistency from you. It took it from Anders, it took it from everybody to get to where you guys got to, which was at the tippy top of the mountain. Like you guys were right there a year ago. And what does that do for expectations on yourself heading into next season, on expectations from the fans heading into next season? Like as an expansion team, getting all the way to the top of SDF or of the MLS, and now heading into year number 2, how do you qualify that in your brain?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's for us now we know how good we are and how good we can be. So it's just, keep taking these steps and keep improving on the things we can improve on. And also obviously try to do the things we've been doing as good this year as well. So yeah, I think those are the biggest things.
I'm curious, last season, you kind of touched on it a little bit there, but at the beginning, heading into the season, it was, I feel like more about, it's the inaugural season. Everyone's excited. When did you guys really believe that you guys could go far in the playoffs? Was it from the get-go or was it kind of as the season went along?
Yeah, I think obviously in the beginning when you sign, I think it was only 6 guys that had signed before. So it's kind of hard knowing who was going to be here. But I think the first training you could kind of see wow, we got a lot of good players in this team. So the quality and the players were there from the start. But then also once we started getting the tactics in and, I think we had a game in preseason when we won 5 or 6-0 against Red Bulls, who was, in the final the year before. And I think that kind of gave us the confidence boost we needed to go into the season. So when you got that game, you're like, okay, wow, we can be really good. So that's kind of when you started feeling it.
SDFC opening up the 2026 MLS season this Saturday night at Snapdragon Stadium, SanDiegoFC.com to buy some tickets. Fill up that supporter section if there's any tickets available. I don't know, Sammy and I may have the last 2 available to give out as we get going here on MLS 2026. All right, Chris McVey is joining us. He's a defender on SDFC. Played a ton of minutes for the squad last year. I think Tyler Heaps called you a foundational piece of this team, being with them since day one. If you don't mind, Chris, let's go a little rapid fire here real quick. 4 questions in a row. Who was your soccer icon growing up?
Ronaldinho.
What does a perfect day off in San Diego look like to you?
Golf day.
Oh, okay. We're pausing. We're stopping right there. What's your course?
I love Madeiras.
Medeiros is so nice, man. I've only gotten to play it once. I actually had another tee time there that I set up for my brother and a couple of our friends, and then I couldn't go because of a scheduling conflict, and they went out and played on my dime while I sat at home doing something else. That course is amazing. All right, who's the best trash talker in the locker room for SDFC?
Ooh, I think maybe Anibal Godoy.
Really? He was one of our favorites starting off the season
Yeah.
right away last year. Sam and I talked about Anibal a lot. And finally, what's the best burrito in town? Have you figured that out yet?
Ooh, I don't know, but I like the taco stand.
At Snapdragon Stadium.
Hell yeah. So
There you go.
last year, obviously going to the Final Four, top of the Western Conference. What is one thing you think that you need as a team, you guys need to improve on to kind of reach the mountaintop and build on last year? Like what differences from last year to this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think now a lot of teams know how we play, and I think they're going to try to adapt to that as well. We saw a lot of teams last year either come, very high press man, or they were sitting back. So it's how good can we break down the low blocks when people start sitting back, and open them up and create chances from that. And on the opposite end of it, where they come pressing, how can we play through them quick to create big chances?
SanDiegoFC.com for tickets and information on all home games this season. The first one coming up this Saturday night. Chris, what do we need to know about Montreal heading into this game?
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know too much about. I think they got a new coach and stuff like that. But yeah, we're expecting them to come out pretty hard. And I mean, it's the first game of the season, so yeah, we're gonna expect them to come out pretty hard. But for us, it's the most important to just focus on ourselves and know what we can do good and keep improving our game.
Obviously, playing on the team, you play with these guys and train with them every day. What is one player you think that doesn't get enough publicity but should on SDFC? That's kind of one of the glue pieces.
I think Onni Valakari, for sure. I think, he's been so important for us. He played almost every game last season as well. And, the effect and how he helps us in the game, it's really important for us, and he's a key piece.
Chris McVey, defender for SDFC. Chris, we wish you the best of luck this year, man. If you ever have an off day, you need a fourth to come out and join your golf, I am available. My schedule is shockingly
He would
open.
smoke you, Ben.
I need some friends, so you just let me know, and I would love to head out there. Even if I have to pay, Chris, I'll do it.
Let's do it.
All right, man. Chris McVey, defender for SDFC. Love having you on, pal. Great meeting you, and we'll see them very, very soon here. SDFC getting their season started this Saturday night, Snapdragon Stadium against CF Montreal. We want to send you to the game. You got to be listening for the sounder, which is coming up in just moments. The sounder is your cue to call 877-767-4760. If you're caller number 7, you're going to be qualified to win those tickets.
On the other side, Anders, 1v3. Anderson is left. Anders, goal. El paletero. Param, param, pam, param, pam, pam. Golazo.
How about that? That was the sounder. If you didn't know,
That was the sounder.
877-767-4760. If you're calling number 7, you qualify to win those tickets. Medeiros is always a strong pull. I appreciate it when someone says that, because the easy one, Sammy, you're just thinking off the top of your head.
Torrey
You say,
Pines.
Torrey Pines, the South Course. It's awesome. Tiger played there, blah, 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 blah. Medeiros is the little, it's pricey, but if you can get out to Medeiros, it is such a hard golf course. It kicked my ass a million times. So if you can get out to Medeiros, that is a fun, stinking course to play, man. Plus, mango scented towels at the end of your round, which is a very nice touch. It's San Diego Sports 760. Take a quick break here. On the other side, we got to get some of these texts, these YouTube comments. They're fantastic. Plus, give you an update on what's going down between Team USA and Sweden. That's next, live on the iHeartRadio app.
Sports sponsored by Wendy's new Biggie deals. Aztecs tough loss last night on the Mesa to Grand Canyon, losing by 10, 73-63. They'll be back on Saturday in Colorado, taking on Colorado State on an early tip time at 3 p.m. Hear that game right here, of course, on San Diego Sports 760. And the NFL, the Seahawks are not looking to tag Super Bowl MVP running back Kenneth Walker. They also announced they're looking to sell the team after winning the Super Bowl. Choose one of Wendy's new Biggie deals at $4, $6, and $8. The new Biggie deals are bigger and biggier than ever. For a pretty big deal, got to be Wendy's. U.S. price of participation may vary.
San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John Schaefer's going to take over then. Was great catching up with Chris McVey. Seemed like a cool guy.
Hell yeah. Shout out to Chris McVey.
Hell yeah. Shout out to Chris McVey. Let's see here. We congratulate here at San Diego Sports 760 all of our $5,000 winners in iHeartRadio's Think a Teacher, powered by Donors Choose. You still have time to say thank you to the educators who are shaping our future. Nominate your favorite teacher now at iHeartRadio.com/teachers, powered by Donors Choose. All right, 858 texting into the show saying Sammy is not allowed to comment on the Backstreet Boys because lots of us use those dudes to make out during the early 2000s.
Wait, how do you know I haven't done that? Why can I not talk about that?
How alive were you during the early 2000s?
Born in 2002. You know what? There's something called
coming out the womb, baby.
Coming out the womb. You know, there's something called Apple Music and Spotify and YouTube.
Sure.
You can actually look back and play songs from years ago.
You are
my fire.
He nailed it. Look at him. Kid's good. Gotta say it. 858 texting in saying the 98 Super Bowl had two separate bets of $100 plus two bets for a case of beer. Cleaned up with the Broncos, the real team in the AFC Quest.
Oh, God.
I think he meant West, but
858. Listen, the real team in the AFC West? The real team in the AFC West?
I mean, historically, you could argue yes.
Yeah, I mean, the dinosaur age, yeah, of course. But
the John Elway age is not the dinosaur age.
No, I mean, John Elway, was kind of the Josh Allen in the NFL, choked for a lot of years, then got it together. I give him credit, winning 2 Super Bowls. But Patrick Mahomes already done what John Elway's done and more.
What if Patrick Mahomes never gets back to another Super Bowl?
Then he would still have one more than John Elway.
619 49ers should upgrade and just go get Kyler Murray. Come on, 619. Are you trying to hurt my feelings? If so, you have succeeded.
Can you imagine if Kyler Murray and Kyle Shanahan's offense running around, running that little kind of triple option? I mean, it'd be fantastic with that running game.
913 texting into the show saying a boy band group performance sounds about right for the Super Bowl halftime show. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick all took to the stage at SoFi in Inglewood for Super Bowl 2022. They did the rappers a few years back. I could see a boy band 90s selection.
I could see it. The problem is, though, LA is not. LA is known for 80s hair bands and rock in the 70s and 80s, and then rap.
Yeah, but what if you went like Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, Britney Spears? Who am I missing? The Pussycat Dolls,
Avril Lavigne, maybe a little Hayley Williams from Paramore. You could do all that one stage, rotate it. I don't know that works today. That's a very small demo. Who's going to love that?
Oh, I don't know. I think, dude, the 90s babies would lose their mind if that was the case.
The problem with boy bands is it's all about the look, and they don't, outside of JT.
The Sphere was sold out for like 6 weeks straight for the Backstreet Boys.
You gotta
Those
have
tickets were like $800 a pop.
I'd rather just have Justin Timberlake do it.
JT would be awesome, but he's already done like 2 Super Bowl halftime shows.
Yeah.
I don't know that we need another.
Part of one of the most controversial ones too.
Yeah, bring Janet Jackson out on stage.
Bring JJ back.
All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. Hey, let's talk some Padres. We haven't really gotten into it today, but funny that we talked to Kevin Acee yesterday, Sammy, and you remember I asked him, I said, Kevin, is it possible they're setting us up to think that a 6-man rotation's coming? He said it's possible. Kevin Acee writes this morning, a 6-man rotation could be coming for the Padres.
Kevin Acee is the king of going kind of one way or the other, and then the article, I respect it. If I was trying to draw people to my article, I would be dropping it on my platform too. But yeah, you gave him the idea, Ben.
Maybe Craig Stammen was asked about it too. I think Kevin actually asked the question, and Craig Stammen said everything's on the table. Look, the case, they do have a lot of time off in the first month of the season, which is rare for Padres. Remember last year, it felt like they were just going a million miles an hour for the first half of the season. But they do have some time off early. They got a couple weeks where they have Sundays off, and as they kind of progress through,
they have a bunch of Thursdays off for some reason.
You could do a 5-man rotation and probably be okay. But that doesn't take into account the fact that Joe Musgrove is coming off of surgery in a year where he didn't pitch. That doesn't take into effect that Michael King was never really healthy all year last year. You kind of want to slow play this out. So a 6-man rotation, especially now that you have some depth, like Randy Vasquez is depth. Walker Buehler is depth. Griffin Canning is depth. You have depth at the starting position now for pitchers. So you might as well go to a 6-man rotation.
Well, totally. And the guys that, because German Marquez, Walker Buehler, Griffin Canning, all these dudes aren't making the roster. There's only a certain number of roster spots that are. So some of these guys are auditioning for other teams, auditioning for MLB contracts. The best thing is that the Padres are going to take the best of those three of whoever pitches the best in the preseason and training camp. So the 6-man rotation, I'm behind because again, the most important thing this year is that you don't burn Joe Musgrove's arm out. Like Joe Musgrove cannot be relied upon in June to be throwing bulk innings for you. He has all the talent in the world. If the Padres want to get to where they want to go, ideally, keep going back to this. Well, look what the Dodgers did last year. And yes, the Dodgers have the depth where they can do this and get away with it. But remember, Blake Snell was on ice. Tyler Glasnow was on ice. Roki Sasaki missed almost the entire summer. There was a point in August where the LA Times, after the Dodgers had got swept again by the Angels, that wrote an article talking about like this team's going down. No, this team's not doing anything. And then, albeit they all magically get healthy a week or two before the postseason, Blake Snell, Yoshinobu Yamamoto have 2 of the great postseason runs we've ever seen. That's ideally, again, the Padres don't have the depth to necessarily do that, but with these signings of Buehler and Marquez and Canning, hoping one of them pops, Joe Musgrove could kind of be that guy. Joe Musgrove would kind of be that ace card that you kind of keep quiet for a large part of the season, getting some innings in, not going too deep into games. And then all of a sudden, a month out, you have the Joe Musgrove, hopefully that we all know and love, that can be extremely dominant, making a really fearsome top 3 with him, Pivetta, and King.
I honestly feel like the reason AJ Preller went out and got Buehler and Canning and German Marquez was so they could go to a 6-man rotation early. And we'll find out during spring training which one of those guys are going to start in the minors, which one of them are going to start in the majors. And it will be a 6-man rotation to start the year. Just even if Nick Pivetta pitches on regular rest, you could still massage everything else around Nick Pivetta and get it to where Joe Musgrove maybe has an extra couple of days. Michael King has an extra couple of days.
Are we forgetting a little too much? This is just a thought. Like I was thinking about this on the way in. Are we forgetting a little bit too much about the guys they already had in the JP Sears, the Matt Waldron?
I think they have every right at the competition. It's again, what we were talking about. The biggest benefit to what AJ Preller did is all of it is just high ceiling, low risk. Everything he did, every move he made was low risk in terms of you could just cut bait with whoever you want.
Exactly. And I wonder if a guy like Griffin Canning has the inside track, because if you look at the 3 of them, considering the lack of it, like Buehler has had 2 massive injuries. So there's a shelf life there to Walker Buehler. Marquez did not have a very good year last year, but that was with Colorado.
I think we all forget how good Matt Waldron was for about 4 months.
I think the story with Matt Waldron is that the way he pitches doesn't work in the postseason. So it's fine in June and July, but I think that's why, because to your point, Matt Waldron had some really good starts.
He saved the season for a little bit.
For a little bit.
He was like the ace of the Padres for like 2 months.
Just the way he pitches, the lack of amount of pitches he has is not a guy you can throw out there in the postseason when the hitters get better and expect to win. Whereas a guy like Griffin Canning, I mean, you look at him and go, this was a former top prospect for the Angels. Yes, they gave up on him. Are there concerns there? He's not just walking in as a top prospect, but this is a guy who had the stuff to where he was one of the prized possessions of the Angels farm system. You're hoping that you can kind of catch a little lightning in the bottle with him.
I'd say the other storyline for Padres spring training is the fact that Manny Machado, Xander Bogaerts, Fernando Tatis Jr. are all going to be leaving spring training like 10 days in. So their first game is coming up on Friday, the 20th. All 3 of those guys will leave for the World Baseball Classic on March 1st. And then there's a potential if they get all the way to the finals, like Xander's playing for the Netherlands. Manny and Tati are both playing for the Dominican Republic. if any of those teams make it all the way to the finals, like the latest they might be coming back is the 17th of March, which gives them like another week and a half
Which
to get ready
isn't
for
the
the
worst
season.
thing. I'd be more concerned if the Padres had pitchers going to these things.
Right.
Like
for years with Yu Darvish, that was a problem.
It was a problem because also you're talking about not even counting Padres baseball. He's already, I mean, every inning, every pitch, every warm-up.
I do think Mason Miller's playing for Team USA. I'm pretty positive about that.
I'm pretty positive. So, but again, he's a closer. You're asking him to come in with high velocity, max topping out at 20, 30 pitches. So he don't worry about it as much. But Yu Darvish, that was a problem. I mean, Yu Darvish was not a problem that he went to go support his country. That's great. But that's a lot of innings already thrown, and we haven't even gotten to the season. Machado, Tatis, Bogarts. I mean, honestly, it might be the best thing for him, especially for a guy like Xander Bogaerts to start a season, hopefully and kind of do something with the WBO and then kind of build that into the season, a little bit of momentum, because hitters I don't really worry about.
Stammen was asked about that yesterday also, and he said those guys all want to get ready for the World Baseball Classic, so you're going to see a lot of them early, where it used to be like maybe Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., they don't play for the first week of spring training and then start really ramping up. I think that's part of the reason why they all got there so early this year before their report date, was because they wanted to start getting training in so they can be ready for the World Baseball Classic, which is going to be awesome, which gets going at the beginning of March. Can't wait for it. But the Padres do have some big names who will be breaking camp early and going to play for their respective teams in the WBC. Have confirmed Mason Miller will be pitching for Team USA, which is kind of badass. Let's go Mace.
619 goes, Matt Waldron was good 2 years ago. Fair.
Matt Waldron was good last season.
Yeah,
he had like a 2-3 month run where he was great for the Padres, and then mentally he kind of fell off a cliff towards the end of the season.
He's not a guy that you trust in the postseason. Whereas Canning, Buehler, these are guys, for all Walker Buehler's faults the last couple of years, the injuries and not great play last year, this is a guy who's pitched in some really big spots. So you trust him going out there. 913, who replaces a Rise at the 2 spot. My vote is Farrell Merrill, who says no.
Dude, I love me some Farrell Merrill.
Yeah, but not at first base.
No, he's saying second in the lineup.
Oh, okay.
First base is going to be probably Nick Castellanos has the first crack at it.
Yeah.
Second in the lineup. Jackson Merrill's playing center field. We know that. But second in the lineup, probably depend on who they're facing, right? Righty-lefty matchups. But I bet you it's fluid to start the year and they start figuring it out.
I don't hate it because you also talk about a guy, like when you have Tatis and Machado and Bogarts all clumped together, those are power hitters. So they can be really streaky, but also can kind of fall off the face of the earth at times. Whereas Merrill is he does have a lot of power, a lot more of a contact hitter. So I'm not against that. I think you need a guy up there that can kind of break this thing up and just get on base and get it to your power hitters.
All right. Do we have our 2 qualifiers already, Sammy?
Not yet.
No, I think we do. Who was the second qualifier? It was Edwin and...
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Edwin and
Julian. Boys, congratulations. Hopefully you're the ones who we pick coming up on Friday. If you missed out on qualifying for the SDFC tickets, John Schaefer is going to have 4 more opportunities for you today. You just have to listen for that sounder. Once it plays, you call 877-767-4760, and you might be heading to SDFC's match with Montreal coming up on Saturday night at Snapdragon Stadium, along with a brand spanking new SDFC jersey. It's San Diego Sports 760. We're going to close this thing out on the other side, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right. Well, we all collectively lose our mind in the year 2026. Has everyone seen what Bad Bunny's grass costumes are being sold for on eBay?
No.
$5,000. $5,000. If you were one of the people wearing one of those costumes that ran out.
Wait, didn't Tati do that?
No, that was AI. I got duped.
Really? So spreading fake news twice today. Ben Fletcher.
This is all over me. But Tati duped a lot of people because there were so many congratulations on Instagram. Like, that's so cool. And she played into it for like a week and then let everyone know it was AI.
Shout out to Jesse and Tati.
Shout out to Jesse and Tati. Speaking of shout outs, real quickly, if you were listening this morning over on 101.5 KGB, you heard it was a different sounding show. It was an emotional show. But Kat Fisher announced that she, kind of divulged. We've known about it for a couple months now, but Kat let everybody else know she's dealing with breast cancer, and she actually starts treatment today. So I would love for everybody who cares about religion or whatever, but send positive thoughts. Or if you do believe, prayer over to Kat Fisher because she needs it, man. She's going through treatment starting today. She's part of the family here that we've grown between myself, Sammy, John Schaefer, of course, even Jim Russell, Brent Sperry, Rich Ornberger, Travis Dale, Kat Fisher, Clint August. We're all one big family here at iHeart. And when one of us is struggling, when one of us is down, it takes a village to kind of prop them back up. So any time you have today, send a thought Kat Fisher's way as she's starting treatment today for breast cancer. And we know she's going to kick its ass, but every little bit helps.
Yeah, man, that was it was sucks to hear because Kat's the best. Always walking around with a smile in the building and wishing her nothing but the best.
And in true Kat Fisher fashion, I had 3 emails from Kat Fisher today while she's going through treatment about stuff that we have to do. So she's not stopping. She's not letting this slow her down. But get better, Kat. We need you here, and send a thought her way today if you have a second. She could sure use it. All right. As we kind of wrap things up here today, we'll finish where we started, and that is with the Aztecs basketball team. Rough loss last night. We'll see what it means for the future. There's obviously going to be opportunity for teams around the country who are now on the bubble instead of the Aztecs to fall out of that conversation just as easily as the Aztecs did last night. I'm not saying by any means their at-large bid chances are gone, but what last night means for San Diego State is their at-large chances don't really rest in their hands anymore. They need to be perfect the rest of the way, and I think they're going to need a lot of help around the country and potentially even from within their own conference. New Mexico is a team that's slightly above the Aztecs right now, and they've sort of entered into that bubble conversation. So think about what's happening. Is that 2 weeks from now when San Diego State hits the road and goes to New Mexico, the opportunity that game is going to be for both teams might quite literally be the difference between one of these teams being an at-large bid and one of these teams not being an at-large bid. If New Mexico is able to get that win on their home court, it probably propels them forward. If San Diego State gets that win on the road, it may get them right back into the conversation they were just in before yesterday's game. Things got a lot more challenging for the Aztecs. I liked what I heard from Miles Bird after the game where he said, I still think we're the best team in the Mountain West, and they have every opportunity to go out and prove that. And by the way, if you win the Mountain West tournament, you just go out and take your at-large bid. You don't even need it anymore, right? So still everything in front of the Aztecs, but not everything in their hands anymore, which is kind of challenging.
I think the biggest question besides them trying to get an at-large bid, and we'll see. I mean, it's not obviously after last night, it's not looking great right now. You win the next 5 games, and you certainly have some big competition there. New Mexico, Utah State, even Colorado State on the road is a toughish game. You'll see what happens, and you see if you get in. My biggest question, though, for the rest of the season is let's just assume that they're out of the at-large bid, which I don't think they necessarily are, but let's just say that that's done. That ship sailed last night. How do the big 3 coexist? Because what we've seen, kind of big 4 with BJ Davis.
And 3 of the 4 really struggled last night.
So it's like Bird has a good game last night. Everyone else really struggles. The game before, you had Reese Dixon Waters, phenomenal game. Magoon Gwath, really good in limited time. BJ Davis, Miles Bird struggles. It feels like there's honestly so much talent on the floor. And you see this sometimes why you have star stacked teams, even in the NBA, don't always work. It's like how they can play as an offense together. And it's weird. Sometimes when one of those guys aren't playing, not that we don't want Magoon Gwath playing or any of these guys, we want them all healthy for the most amount of talent on the floor. It almost takes away other options, and these guys start being more pure scorers, and it, in a weird way, kind of helps the team play better. So I think in the next couple weeks, before let's see if they can get an at-large bid. If they don't, and they got to go play in Vegas 3 or 4 games to try to make sure they're in the NCAA tournament, That is the big key. If they end up making the NCAA tournament, it's going to be because those big three, big four guys learn how to play together. If they don't, it's going to be a lot more the same, where it's one guy pops off and the other guys, there's an APB out on him, and kind of vice versa.
Yeah, I do think you're right. And just imagine if all four of them were playing great at the same time, right?
Well, that's how scary the team can be.
And that's the team that could maybe make a run to the Sweet 16. That's the team that maybe could make a special run in March, but we haven't seen it happen yet this year. So if they can figure it out, now's the time to do so for San Diego State. And we'd love to see it. Yeah, last night it was just kind of weird. The shot selection for, I'm gonna say both Reese Dixon Waters and BJ Davis was so unlike what they'd been doing all year, where they really let games come to them. And Grand Canyon is an excellent defensive team. That's where they've made their money this year, is on the defensive end of the basketball. But it was weird, the kind of forcing shots. It's something we haven't really seen from this team this year, and I don't know what it was. But Reese Dixon Waters, instead of letting the offense come to him, was really trying to force his way into the offense, and I didn't really get that for the Aztecs. But plenty of opportunity left. Sammy, do we have a score update here before we get out? Is it 1-0?
It is 1-0. I believe they're starting the third period right now for Team USA.
All right, start rooting hard for Team USA, baby. Here we go. John Schaefer is coming up next. Congratulations to our qualifiers. John's going to have 4 more of them over the next 4 hours. So stay tuned here on San Diego Sports 760. Thank you for being here today. We're out.